Here we go, another batch of mugs and shots. What shall we do with them today? This is my Potter's Journal for September 26th, 2023. In today's video, I will be slipping and sgraffitoing shots, mugs, potion flasks. The tulip and heart, so typical of Pennsylvania Sgraffito slipware, and the skull from Dia de los Muertos. In this video, the tulips, I've done this before, actually became arms reaching out to welcome you. It's important to let your designs evolve. I didn't kind of know it was going to happen. It was a surprise to me. Okay, let's see what's going on in the studio today. And how thick should the slip be? Well, I guess it should be till it looks like that. Or I guess you could put a hydrometer into it too. But it also comes down to personal taste. So, if everybody's personal taste is a little bit different, the hydrometer is not going to do you any good. And you need to catch them at the same dryness, a kind of wet, still somewhat damp leather hard, the maybe early to mid stages of leather hard. So if you catch it at the wrong stage, or at a different stage from one batch to another, you're going to get a different thickness. It's going to react different. I think that one time when I did this, I actually had the slip chip off a bit, maybe, when the glaze firing was done. So, right or wrong, I'm thinking that it might have been a time when they were too dry, that maybe they were. Okay, getting just past the leather hard and approaching greenware. So it may come down more to experience, getting all your timing right, than it has anything to do with it being the right thickness. And moving on to mugs, I tend to put it in and then turn it like that so I can see the different sides, and that seems to help, okay, not in this case, but in some cases, to get the line more level, if that's something you need and is important. And I've also found that, the first time I did this, it was all such a mystery. I think it comes down just to doing it, okay, more than once, that I've found that they need to dry a bit before you can set them upright, or they drip. So it's hard to do this with two hands and hold the camera, but that's why I'm doing here two at once. So we'll let the first one dry a bit and put it on the shelf, and then the second one dry a bit and put it on the shelf, and then with the other hand we will move the camera. And it's important, look who's back there. Important not to touch and to smear things as you do all that. So there's all just a big trick to it. It may be something that just takes a lot of practice. Okay, we'll maybe let this one get a drip. And drips can be nice, but you can't always get drips that you like, so I try to avoid the drips. We will let these dry out slowly now. It's nice to get to the Sgraffito part before they're completely dried out, so you don't have all that dust. It's hard to catch them at the right time. We'll see if we can do that. All slipped up and ready for the Sgraffito on another batch of mugs and shots. What kind of spooky things can we do here today? And these skull mugs. Okay, so this is a little different size and scale than the shots. Some things, okay, work best at a certain size and scale, maybe are hard to adjust up to. Okay, so sometimes on the eyes we're bringing them to life and maybe putting a white iris in there. And okay, this is my hazelnut clay again. This is coming so much cleaner, and maybe on some of them we'll give them a great big open mouth. And a big line of teeth. And the tulips. Okay, coming out of both sides here, with the stems actually coming down and maybe becoming the arms, just reaching up and out to give you a big hug. And the petals coming out like flames. Okay, I'm going to set you on fire. And let's see if we can still do the line around there. Yeah. And it's a little easier, okay, on the mug to find the back for the X. Okay, occasionally we put a little heart back there too, from our friend. And did you see these little potion flasks? Well, they're nice, but they're round on the bottom. How are we going to slip these? How are we going to slip these? How are we going to glaze them and fire them? Well, we'll take a little ball of clay and round it off and just, okay, push it right into there like that, so we can dry the slip on there and then we can fire them on there. I'll only slip and glaze them about halfway. So let's see, to slip it I'll need to grab it down there so the bottom will be unglazed. We'll reach beyond the camera, get that into the slip bucket, and okay, we will blow it out of the little openings so that, okay, and we'll do the same when it comes glaze time. I may take a brush and brush some more out of there. When it comes glaze time, we will brush all the glaze out from those little openings, or they may happen to close in the firing. Now, we can turn them the other way. How are we going to get them in? Oh, okay, two hands. Two hands, and we'll set them right in there like that. And how about this? Potion flasks. What kind of slipware design should we put on them? Oh, no. This is just wrong. These are way too small. Way too small. You know, when I was doing sculpture, you know, from extruded clay sewer pipe as tall as my head, I would often spend a week like up on a scaffolding to be able to reach the top, and then at the very end I'd find myself laying down on the floor working on some fine little detail of the bottom of it. So that's what we're doing here. Fine little details. What did I say when I was doing the mug? Each scale, each size calls for a different tool and method, and each method and tool will come out with, okay, a skull of a different character, and then maybe something will overlap into the next scale. So these are for potion flasks, these are for essential oils. I may have to get somebody to sell them for me. If I'm wearing a plaid shirt and a camouflage cap, and somebody says, "Oh, what are they?" And I say, "Okay, the essential oil flasks." Well, I don't know, it's for some kind of new age nonsense. I doubt I'll sell somebody. Maybe I'll get my sister with hair in dreads and see if she'll wear a tie-dye t-shirt and have her do the market for me when I'm at another show, and I might have a better luck at selling them. Skulls. Okay, skull shots. Mine are the happy ones. Mine aren't, okay, there's all different styles nowadays. They are for little girls. They are for bikers. They are for everybody. Everybody's got their own style. Mine, I remember seeing the skulls on the pyramids down in the Yucatan, and thinking someday I'd like to do something. Mine aren't those, but I still keep thinking about them. This is a reclaimed clay, some clay that somebody gave me that might have been sculpture clay, but I mixed a little bit of my everyday clay, my hazelnut, in with it, but it's got a lot of grog in it that's coming up, so it's making the carving on these things, okay, a little more difficult than it normally is. That's something I hadn't thought about with a different clay, having some given to me, deciding to use it. That, I thought about, well, what's the color of the clay going to be like? Is it going to throw okay? That really isn't much of a problem. What's it going to look like with my glazes? But something I hadn't thought about is how is it going to react to the Sgraffito, this scratching away part that I don't like doing to begin with. I always try to hit it when it's a little bit wet, even keep them covered for the longest time so that I can get them while it's still a little bit wet. But somehow, okay, there's always something else that has to be done, and by the time I do get to them, okay, it's all dry and dusty. And on the back, okay, we just got an X. So popular year-round, but with a big seasonal appeal. Also, the mortar and pestles, if you saw me make those, would be great prop for a witch's costume. And I might have one more idea that maybe I can do in a tasteful way that makes me happy to put my stamp on it. Stop back and see what's going on in the studio next week. Maybe a kiln firing.